Here's what's on my craft table today. A pretty coaster, or a doily if you may want to call it. It's a three-dimensional coaster. It has 2 layers at the edges, and there is no restrictions of what yarn you can use for this. You can use cotton, you can use acrylic, thinner, thicker. See, this is a coaster made with a thinner thread, so the outcome is smaller but as pretty as it can be. If you're thinking how to style your coaster, so here it is. Display it on a photo frame, or can hold a beautiful glass bowl, or put it on an embroidery hoop with a colorful background. So let's get started with making the doily. So let me bring in the threads now that I'm going to use. I'm using 4-ply cotton in 2 different colors, and I'm using a hook 2.5 mm, which is rather small for this yarn, but since I want the stitches to be tighter, I'm using a smaller hook. So we'll begin with making the slip knot. So this is the beginning of round 1. Make a slip knot and 8 chains. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So after making 8 chains, make it into a ring by slipping into the first chain that we made. So insert your needle in the first chain and pull your yarn out, so that makes a slip stitch. So you've made a ring into which we are going to work our stitches. So there is a tail hanging out there. So this tail, you can hold it along with the ring and work your stitches over it. So let's begin. Chain 1, 2, 3. So this chain 3 is considered also as 1 DC. So we have made 1 DC, and now I'm making the second DC into the ring. So we are working inside the ring and also holding the tail along with the ring. So 2 DCs, 3, 4. So we are going to make a total of 24 DC inside the ring. We started with a 8 chain ring. So the 8 chain ring is smaller when you have to fit in 24 DCs into it, and you will have to keep moving your stitches so that you can fit in all the 24 DCs into the ring. So you can see me here trying to adjust and pull and push and make room for all the 24 DCs inside the ring. So we are finishing round 1. See, still there is no space, so you have to keep adjusting and moving your stitches along the ring. So the 8 ring loop expands and accommodates all the 24 DCs inside it, so not to worry. And we are finishing with the 24 DCs. So here's the last of the 24. So when you finish, so please count. To end this row, you have to slip it into the third chain in the third chain that you began with. So count 3, count the third chain, insert your needle into the beginning chain, third chain, and slip stitch. So that brings us to the end of round 1. Round 2 begins with 2, 3, 4 chains. and you will make the, see, you can see there is a stitch right next to it which can get hidden sometimes, so you have to be aware of that. So we are going to make a DC into that stitch which is right next to the beginning one. So that's the second DC. We started with 4 chains and now we have made a DC. So 1 chain, DC into the next stitch. Again chain 1, DC into the next stitch. So we continue like this till the end of the round. 1 chain, 1 DC. So we are finishing round 2. We are at the end of round 2. 1 more DC to go. And we have to next join it to the chain 4 that we made in the beginning. So the last DC, chain 1, and if you remember we made chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the beginning. So we have to make a slip stitch into the third chain. Yeah, that's the third chain. So make a slip stitch in the third chain and tighten it. So that brings us to the end of round 2. Round 3 begins again with slipping into the next space that's there. So make a slip stitch in the space there, so your work begins from that space and not from the stitch or from the DC. So chains again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chains, make a DC into the same space. Yeah, now we are working our stitches into the spaces, not on the stitches. So chain 1, 1 DC into the next space, chain 1, 1 DC into the next space. So this is the set that we are going to repeat. So 1 DC into the next space, chain 1, another DC into the same space, so you see we started with 2 DCs in the same space, right? So then we made 2 single DCs inside the spaces, and next we are again making 2 DCs in the same space. So we are going to repeat the same thing around. So here once again 1 DC, chain 1, 1 DC into the next space, chain 1. Now in this space we'll be making 1 DC, 1 chain and another DC in the same space. So this pattern continues till the end of the round. So every time as you're working, please make sure that you're following the pattern properly and you get the equal number of stitches. So I've come to the end of round 3. A few more stitches to go. So just check again to make sure that your pattern is correct. So 1 DC and another DC. So this is the last pair, 1 DC, 1 chain, 1 DC into the same space. So, and to finish it, chain 1, and initially you made 4 chains, so we are going to slip stitch into the third chain, not the fourth chain but the third chain. So slip stitch into the third chain and close the round. So that's the end of round 3. Again we are going to slip it into the next space to begin round 4. Round 4 begins with 3, 4, 4 chains. Then after 4 chains we make a stitch which is called as the triple crochet. A triple crochet is nothing but you take the yarn over twice on the needle. See, you take the yarn over twice and then work a triple crochet into the space. So here you have 4 chains and 2 triple crochets. Chain 3 and another triple crochet, not in the next space. Leave one space and go to the next space and make 3 triple crochets in that space again. Okay, there we have 3 triple crochets, 3 here and 3 there, and you have to make the same thing all over. So we have come to the end of the round and you have to now count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. So there are 15 3 triple crochets and now we are going to work the last one. So 1, 2, and the last one. This is the third and the last triple crochet in this round. And before we close we have to make 3 chains and then end the row by slip stitching into the 4th chain that you began. So 1 2 3 4 you had made, so insert the needle into the 4th chain. I am showing you where the placement is to be. So insert your needle into the 4th chain and make a slip stitch. So that completes this round, end of round 4. Let's begin the next round. Here I am making 1 2 3 chains, which is equivalent to a DC. So here in the previous row it was triple crochets, now it is DCs. So we made 3 chains and another DC I am making in the next one. So that is 2 DCs. I am considering the 3 chain as a DC also. So I have made excuse me, 3 DCs. Two chains and 3 DC again into the space there. Chain 2 and 1 DC each into the next 3 triple crochets that we made in the previous row. So 3 DC there. So 3 DC, chain 2, 3 DC, chain 2, 3 DC, and continue the same way all around. Yeah, I have come to the end of the round here, and 2 chains and 3 more DCs to go. So 1, 2, and the last one 3. 3 DC, and then you have to join it to the third chain. 1 2 3. So the third chain is there, so you will be joining or making a slip stitch there. So before that, do not forget your 2 chains, and then slip stitch, or it's also called join. Let me zoom in for you. Yeah, so you will join there with the slip stitch. Okay, that ends the row there. You can see it's getting a little bit wavy now. That's the end of round 5. Your work will look like this. We are beginning round 6 now. Chains, 1 2 3, 3 chains, 1 DC into the next stitch, another DC into the next stitch. So we have made 3 DCs on top of the previous 3 DCs. So in the next space now, it will be 1 trimmer. So you see I took the yarn over the needle twice, so that's a triple crochet, not a trimmer, sorry. Another triple crochet, so 2 triple crochets and 2 chains, and again another 2 triple crochets into the same space. This, see, you'll have to move your stitches a bit to make room for the stitches inside that space there. Yeah, that's the second triple crochet after the chain 2. Now again 1 DC, another DC also on the same, on the previous DC, and another DC. So that makes it 3 DCs on 3 stitches. So we are in the space now. So now look here, this is the first peak that we have made. So 3 DCs, 2 triple crochets, 2 chains, 2 triple crochets, and 3 DCs. Okay, so this is one petal. Now we are going to work the next petal in the next space there. Again, wherever there is a space, we will do the same. In the space, we will work 2 triple crochets, 2 chains, and 2 triple crochets. So a triple crochet. A triple crochet is a longer stitch. So in order to make the petals in the conical shape, that is why we do the DCs and the triple crochets together, so that we get the conical shape or the petal shape. So I've made 2 triple crochets. Now I'm making 2 chains, and then 2 more triple crochet in the same space. That's done. Okay, now there are 3 more stitches down there. In that we will make DCs, 3 DCs, 1 DC or double crochet, 1 second DC, and the third DC. So throughout the video I might be using DCs and or double crochet, both are the same. So you see we have worked 2 petals now. So again in the space there, 2 triple crochet, 2 chain, 2 triple crochet. that's 2 triple crochets, then make 2 chains and make space for the stitches and another 2 triple crochet in the same space. Okay, so what's next then? It will be DCs. DCs or double crochets. So 3 double crochet on the 3 stitches in the previous row. So this is how it continues. So the same thing has to, so you can see the wavy structure, the same thing continues for the rest of the round also. See, at the end of the round you will see you got a lot of curls and lot of waves going on. So that is how it is supposed to be. And I have come to the end of this round, almost to the end, a few more stitches to complete the round. So you can see I'm making the last triple crochet of this round, and I will now join to the first DC that I made. Yeah, so there are no chains in between, so just slip to the third chain and join to complete the round. So this completes the round. You can see, like I told you earlier, you can see a lot of waves going on, and it's going to get more wavier in the next round. So these are the petals that you can see, and when you count these petals you will have 32 such petals or peaks all around. So 32 is the correct number. You have to watch out for that. Okay, now let's begin the next round. Round 7 begins with 3 chain, and after making the 3 chains you can see there are 4 stitches there in the previous round. So make 4 DCs on top of those stitches. So that's the second DC. I am considering chain 3 as 1 DC. So that's 2, so that's 3, that's 4, and that is 5. So like I said, it's 4 DCs over the remaining 4 DCs, but since I made 3 chains earlier, so I'm counting that also. So totally you will have 5 stitches there. So now we come to this space, which is the petal or the peak. There again we will work 3 triple crochets. So that's 1 triple crochet, that's 2, and the third triple crochet. So 3 triple crochets in the space, and yeah, there will be less space in the gap there, so you will have to move your stitches to make space for the stitches. So then there will be chain 3. There has to be chain 3, but I made chain 2 instead of chain 3, so that's a negligible mistake which we can overcome, not in all cases. So in this one lesser chain is not going to make any difference at all, so I am continuing with that. So after 3 chains there is 3 triple crochets in the space there. And let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 stitches down there, so we are going to be making 7 DCs on those stitches. So 1 DC on each one of them. So the counting here also is very important, so please do not forget the first stitch which is hidden. See, it's there. Okay, begin the DCs from the first stitch. Seven, like I told you. So if you're going to miss that out, you will have only 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 DC, 5, 6, 7. Seven DCs. So you can see the petal forming, and I've made 7 DCs on there. We are in the space again. Here we are going to make 3 triple crochet, 3 chain, 3 triple crochet in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. So 3 triple crochet and chain 3 and 3 triple crochet again. So chain 3, again I made 2 chains, which is a mistake, and 3 triple crochets inside the same space. Again there will be 7. There will be 7 stitches there. So here you can see a mistake again. Instead of making 3 triple crochets, I made only 2. I made only 2 triple crochets, but when I realized my mistake, I went back and redid it, but I could not film it again. So we assume that there are 3 triple crochets there. And now after the triple crochets, there will be 7 DCs that you have to make. So 7 DCs on top of the 7 stitches in the previous round. So that is 6 and that is 7. So 7 DCs after we make the triple crochets. See, this is how you have to do all around now to finish the round. You can see my picture there. You can see a lot of waves going on, but not to worry, it will all settle down in the next round. So I'm finishing up the last few stitches of this round. Okay, so there's one more space in which we have to make the petal. So that will be again 3 triple crochet, 3 chain, 3 triple crochet. That's 1 triple crochet, that's 2, and that's the third one. Okay, 3 chains now. Yeah, I got it right this time. And 3 more triple crochets in the same space. So that's the last petal. Two and 3. And now we are almost in the end, but 2 more DCs to be made before we finish. So 1 and 2. We are going to join in the third chain. Insert your needle on the top chain and slip it. So that's the end of this round and the end of the wavy round 2. So before you cut, you have to once again check if all your work is correct, and then only you will have to cut your thread. Don't be in a hurry to cut the thread and finish the work, because then you will have to join thread again in case there is any other repairs that has to be done. So at the end of round 7, this is how your work will look. And let me bring in the next color thread to work the border or for the final round. Now the final round, so before we finish, we start, or the final round can begin in any of the spaces, but before we begin, I want to weave in this tail thread here so that it's not in our way. So actually you will have to do it with a needle and thread, but just to keep it out of way, I'm just using my crochet hook and putting it at the back. So to begin this next round, we can begin in any one of the petals, that is in any one of the spaces that form the petals. So to begin, I'll make a slip knot and join it to one of the petals, means the space that you can see in the petal, the 3 chain space, you remember. So there we are going to join. So join by making a slip stitch and then working a single crochet in the same space. So this is the way to begin this round, and to attach the new thread also. By attaching and by making a single crochet, we are ready to begin this round. In this round, we'll be making only single crochets and chains. So I made 3 chains and I'm making another single crochet into the same space, chain 3, single crochet into the same space, chain 3, and single crochet into the same space. So this set of 3 picots or scallops I've made, I will call it as point 1 or the first point. So we will be needing this to refer to later work. So I am showing you a close-up. I made single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, and so you will have 3. Okay. Now again we are continuing to make single crochets only in all the stitches till you reach the next space or the next petal. See here once again, without missing the first stitch, which is quite hidden. I am going to start with making a single crochet. One single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have made 13 single crochets that is 1 single crochet on top of each of the stitch in the previous row. We have come to the next space here, or the next petal, where we are going to make the same repetition of the previous petal. So 1 SC, chain 3, another SC, chain 3, and SC again in the same space, chain 3 and SC. So this is the second petal or the second point for reference, because when we join I will be using those terms. Okay, after making this, the second petal or the second point of joining, we are going to continue making SCs. After working into the center of the petal, work 10 single crochets or make 10 single crochets on the next 10 stitches. So count for 10 and then we will be making the join. Okay, so let's count how many we have made now. How many single? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So make 10 single crochets and then we are going to join. To join, you have to take out the hook from where you're working and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Count the fourth SC that you made after the first point I told you, or the first petal. So insert your hook in the fourth single crochet after the first petal and take the loop back into your hook and join it like this. And then continue making the single crochets. So that will be 1, 2 and 3. So I'll get to the joining again, so not to worry, let us work further. I'll show you how to make the joining again. And here we are in the petal or the center of the petal or the space. So in that space you will make 1 single crochet, 3 chain, 1 single crochet, 3 chain, and another single crochet. Okay, and 3 more chains and a single crochet. So there will be 3 small tiny scallops or picots there. And as when you finish this you are finishing the third petal. Now again work 10 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after making 10 single crochets we will be making the join. Now the join will be on the top petals. So earlier we did the bottom petal and now we are going to do the top petals. So for the top petal again, from the next point count 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to insert your hook in the, means after you take out the hook from the working space, so count 3 and insert your hook here. So and then grab onto the loop that you dropped and pull it through. When you pull it through is when we make is what is called as the joining. So this is one way of joining. There's also another way to do it, which I will show you very soon. Okay, so this I've joined. So instead of joining like this, the other way to join this is, the only difference is where we insert the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of inserting the hook from the front to the back, I am inserting the hook from the back to the front, and again grabbing the loop that I dropped and pulling it through. So when I pull it through, a join is made. And now there will be 3 more single crochets to finish. 1, 2, 3. So whenever we are making a join, you are going to drop the loop and then from where you're working, and then you're going to make the join. Okay, so we have made the join, 2 types of join, joining the bottom petals and joining the top petals, or joining on the bottom and joining on the top. So you might have to view it multiple times to get it. So I hope it's clear. So again we are in the center of the petal, so we are going to make the same stitches again. 1 SC, 3 chain, 1 SC, 3 chain, and again another set like that. Okay, so you have 3 tiny scallops or 3 tiny picots there, and now the count again begins. Here 10 single crochets now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After making 10 single crochets, drop the loop and take out the hook from where you are working, and now go to the previous petal and you will have to join there. So from the previous petal that you made, count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, insert your hook from the front to the back of the 4th single crochet there. Grab the loop that you dropped and pull it through. And as you pull it through, make sure that it's tight. That is the join. That's the back join of the petals. So there are 2 types of join, the front join and the back join. So this is at the back or the bottom. Okay, again we are in the space where we have to make our small tiny scallops or picots. So 1 SC, 3 chain for 3 times. Keep moving your stitches to make space for them, otherwise your stitches will be overlapping one on top of the other and they will not look neat. Okay, after you've made them, our next step is to make 10 single crochets before we begin to join the petal again. So that's 4, I guess. Okay, so I have made 10 single crochets. Now remove the hook from where you have been working and go to the previous petal and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert your hook from the back to the front. Grab onto the loop that you dropped and pull it through. And when you pull is when you have made the join. And after you make the join, you will always have 3 single crochets to work and to finish that step. Okay, so this is the top join that we made. When you join the petals on the top, it's top, and when you join the petals at the bottom, it is the bottom join. This is just for my reference. Okay, so now since we have made the top join, your next join will be the bottom join, and then again the top and the bottom, top, bottom, it alternates like that. Okay, I'm just showing you. So this is not actually the next join. Your next join will be the bottom join. You have to make the bottom join first, and for reference I'm showing you how they will appear to you. So this is how it will appear when you finish all your joins. Okay, this was a little intimidating for me when I first learned how to do this coaster, but then it took me some time and then I figured it out. So continue like this throughout, and then when you continue you will come to this place where we have almost finished our very beautiful coaster, three-dimensional coaster with lovely petals. And now we have to finish the remaining of the joining, but then since it's the last, there is a little bit of a change in the way we join, so you have to watch carefully. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for clarity. So this is the tiny scallops that you will be making inside the petal or in the center of the petal. Chain 3 and SC, so you know what goes into that. Okay, so that is again chain 3 and single crochet into the same space. Okay, now this is the point where we are going to make a double join. So instead of continuing down and making 10 SCs, there is a change. So watch out now for how we do this part of the join. Now instead of making 10 SCs, we are going to make only 3 SCs. So 1, 2, and one more we have to make. So before that, let me explain where you will be joining. So on the left side you have a petal, there we will be joining there. So see to the left of your work. So after making 2 SCs, I am making the third SC here. So 3 single crochets made, and it has to be attached to the petal on the left, and remove the hook from your working point. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is the point where we have to join it. I'm just showing you to where we are joining. So insert your hook back where you were working. Count 1, 2, 3, and you are in the fourth one there. So after working 3, so your needle is in the same place where you left off. So now you are going to make a join here in the fourth single crochet. Just pull through. Yes, and when you pull through, you have made a join there. And now turn your work a little bit. Sorry, that's turn. A slip of the tongue. Turn your work a little bit and you'll see where you have to work the rest of the stitches. So you remember you made 3 single crochets. So let's see now here what to do next. Okay, you can see where you have to work the single crochets here. So on the remaining stitches, we'll continue making single crochets. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So we are going to make 7 single crochets, and there's 3 more remaining there for you to work later. So now we are going to make another attachment. So we are going to attach with the petal which is on the right side. So to do this, you are going to take off your hook from your working point and count 3 and insert your hook into the 4th single crochet and grab the loop that you left off from your working thread and make the join there. So what's left is 3 more single crochets to be finished. Okay. Oh yeah, we are almost done now. Not done yet until you join it together. So join in the first stitch. Join is also meaning slip stitch or join. Okay, and we are done. So make one more chain just for the stitches to hold tight and take off your hook. It's time to cut your thread, but before you cut your thread, make sure that your join is all good, and if you think your join is a little loose, go back and work again. I mean the last part of it, you can work again. Okay, we made 3, after 3 chains, we made 3 SCs, and then after making 3 SCs we joined and worked 7 SCs in the remaining stitches, and again then we joined with the petal on the right side, and what was remaining was 3 more single crochets to finish it. Now we are ready to cut the thread when you are sure that your join and all of the stitches are in place. So give it a small pull or a tug to make it tight, and then you're done. So it's now time to take a look at your beauty and adjust the work. So they're all curled up and not looking very pretty right now. So you will have to just adjust and make the stitches all fall in place, and then shape it according to how it is supposed to stay upright like that. My work stays upright because I have used a thinner needle, that is a smaller needle for a thicker thread. So that's how you should be doing it also. So I'm glad you've reached this point where you can enjoy your lovely coaster. And when you do make one, please share it with me. So our work is still not over when we do not weave in the threads. These threads have to be woven inside in such a way that they are not seen, and they also have to be woven inside because they do not unravel and come out. And especially when you're going to be washing it often, you have to make sure that you weave in the threads really well so that they don't come out in your washing. And always crochet items need to be hand washed. Please do not put them in the washer. If you put them in the washer, the shape is going to really change, and you will have a tough time again to put them back into shape. So make 1 or 2 passes up and down so that your thread is tight enough, and then snip it. Okay, there's no need to make knots as such, but then you will have to weave inside properly. Time to display and enjoy your coaster. And if you have liked what you learned, please share, subscribe, and give me a like. Thank you.